If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. I made a video the other day where I talked about the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, proposing some changes to the Burning Man. Now, Burning Man is a big party that's held once a year out in the BLM in the desert. It was getting too cumbersome for the Bureau of Land Management to deal with anymore. You know, they weren't able to bring in enough police officers and rangers and different things. The trash was becoming an issue. Medical situations was becoming an issue. I tried to make a connection between the Burning Man and the nomadic lifestyle. More and more people are coming out here to live on the Bureau of Land Management or the National Forest, different things. And over time, just like the Burning Man, it's going to get too cumbersome for the government to handle, and as a result, they're going to put things in place to stop it. Now, in that video, I got a lot of feedback from folks, and a lot of them wanted to tell me that I was not correct, that the Burning Man, they put dumpsters out there, the trash is picked up, the Burning Man pays the BLM lots and lots of money to deal with all these things. But the thing is I was pulling information straight from the Bureau of Land Management. I didn't make anything up. I was only repeating what the Bureau of Land Management said the problem was and what they want to do to resolve the problem. What these commenters had said, one of them was they put dumpsters out in the BLM, so the trash is not a problem. But that's not true. Even the Burning Man said they don't put dumpsters out there. Bureau of Land Management has made it a requirement now that they have to put dumpsters out there. They don't want to, but they're going to have to. The reason they don't want to is because there was this, says leave no trace. Well, the thing is they were leaving a trace. Maybe not inside the BLM, but what was happening is folks were taking their trash out to the town, the local town, and just dumping it off. They were dumping it off in people's streets and dumpsters and different things. So the town ended up having to pay for all this trash. As a matter of fact, you could drive miles and miles and miles down the road and you would see people just dumping their trash off on the side of the road. So now the Bureau of Land Management says, well, I also have to worry about the community. Another thing they want to do with this new permit, see, what happened is the Burning Man's permit expired. So the Burning Man put in a request for a new permit for 100,000 people to attend this time. Another thing the BLM wants to happen is they want the Burning Man to pay for road repair. There was so much traffic going in and out that it was damaging the roads. Well, the BLM didn't think it was their responsibility to have to fix the roads every time this thing came around. So they're saying that the Burning Man is going to have to do it. They said they're going to bring in their own security. The Bureau of Land Management was having to bring in 78 officers for those 8 days from all around the country to handle the security. Well, they've asked the Burning Man to bring in their own security. The Burning Man said this is going to end up ending the Burning Man's event eventually. They're not going to be able to sustain it. As a matter of fact, they're going to raise the cost. Now, a lot of people said that the Burning Man charges $500, and I've heard all kinds of different numbers, $500, $1,000. Well, it ends up it's not even close to that. So if that wasn't a big enough obstacle for the Burning Man to have to overcome, then there was one last obstacle that, in my mind, seems almost impossible to handle, is light pollution. Apparently, with all the car lights and lanterns and, whatever else is going on, I guess fires, there's too much light pollution going up into the sky, so the people who want to use their telescopes, I guess, or whatever, aren't able to use their telescopes. So now the BLM is saying you can't have a certain amount of light pollution, but they don't define what that is. It could be simple as the BLM comes out and says, okay, there's too many lights, and they pull the permit. The point of all this is it doesn't matter what you or I think is reasonable. We've given this land, the people have given this land to the government, and the government is making decisions on what to do with it. Now, the other thing you have to realize is there was public input. Anytime the government wants to make a change, they put out a thing on the internet, and you're allowed to give public input. Well, a lot of the public input came back saying, hey, you know what? We don't want this thing out here. Now, let's connect the dots here. Let's say, wait a minute, an 8-day event for 100,000 people. Well, think about all the RVers out there. I've said that there's about 1 million people, there's some statistics that say there's about 1 million people that live full-time in their campers. And I believe that that's going to grow, every year, possibly 1 million people. People argue with me on that. It's not going to grow that much. That's fine. Okay, I'm wrong. But we're talking about 100,000 people in an 8-day event that they want to shut down. They're pushing to shut down with some requirements that are almost impossible to achieve for an event that is organized by an organization. The Burning Man is an organization. It has leadership and volunteers and all these things to come and fix all this up. Well, now we have RVers going out there in droves. Easily over 100,000 people. I'm sure we all can agree on that. There's no organization to come out and say, okay, we need to control the trash. We need to control the sound. We need to control the street maintenance. We need to control the light pollution. Well, there's no such organization to control all that. There were just a bunch of individuals that we're saying, okay, we're going to go out here and we're going to live in the desert because and I get this a lot, there's so much land out here, there's no way they're going to shut all this RV and stuff down. The writing's on the wall. They keep shutting down more and more places, one piece at a time. They keep charging for different places, one piece at a time. You know, in the last 4 months, I've seen, I guess, 4 different campgrounds either shut down or there's a proposal to start charging. So if the BLM can shut down such a hugely advertised and a hugely popular event like the BLM, they're going to easily just be able to sweep away this RV community thing without much ado about it. They don't really care. Okay, so they knock some RVers off the BLM. Nobody's going to say, it's not even going to take much public input. All they're going to say is, okay, we want to shut down this portion of the BLM or the National Forest, or we want to start charging, because it's becoming a little bit too much to handle. You know, these RVers are coming out here and they're tearing up the roads. There's 100,000 people coming out tearing up the roads, and your tax dollars is going to have to pay to repair those roads. Well, the public outcry is going to say, oh, no, we don't want to pay for those roads. Kick them out of there. And so they're going to kick the RV community out of there. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.